We'll get started here in just a few moments. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to allow for filters too. The YouTube trigger.
Yeah, but I think it popped up, so I think it's good to go.
Here we go.
Hey, Shalom.
Shalom.
We'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahawah, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Hakwadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to you, Akim, pushing this word in truth and sincerity throughout the four corner of the earth. All right, we're back once again. Wanted to go into Um, a quick lesson, Lord willing, this will be edifying to the elect of Israel, which is your so-called Black, Latinos, and Native Americans. And we know we are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. So your spirit resonate with our spirit, and you could there very possibly be the nation of Israel because we are scattered amongst the other 17 nations. All right. And as you see the topic, we in cold times, only gonna get colder. All right. As times are moving faster is all for the elect's sake that the Lord is moving things fast, and this is the will of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Yahweh meaning he is, which is the world, who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai, who is our big brother, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. All right. Meaning Yahweh Shai, he is our salvation, he is our deliverer. All right. And we pray that, hasten in the day for that to come forth as soon as possible because of this man Esau rules the world. We know that things gonna only get colder and get worse as we see. All right. And as you see on the news, you have people in these times that don't even like to open up articles on what's going on in the world or on in their own cities. Why is that? Because it's nothing good that's happening around your neighborhoods or around the world right now. Where you going?
Yep, I got a quick one for you. This Wisdom of Solomon 14:22 says, "Moreover, this was not enough for them, that they erred in the knowledge of the Most High, but whereas they lived in the great war of ignorance."
Hey, and it's gross darkness, as it says in Isaiah. And what is that? That's that ignorance, not knowing. All right. And that's what we're seeing now. Our people are ignorant to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. They are blind to the fact because the Lord is one blinded the minds, and also the God of this world has blinded the mind of them. All right.
Yep. It says, "Moreover, this was not enough for them, that they erred in the knowledge of Yahweh Bashim Shai."
Bro, the Lord is setting up salvation.
Man.
He's setting up to bring down the enemy.
Yep.
All right. But they're saying this is not enough. All right. And why is that not enough? Because they don't have enough faith. They don't believe. They got to see it right there in their face, a physical or tangible thing, but they don't have faith. Faith is the substance of things that's not seen, roughly paraphrase. You don't. If they don't see it in front of their eyes, our people don't believe that it's going to be possible. It's going to happen. All right, that's how far gone Jake is gone to the world. These Black Latinos and Native Americans, they believe that there's no hope unless they see it in their face.
Right.
That's why they're relying on Esau.
If I can add, just laying back on your point, priest, same time, it takes, something carnal and tangible for our people to believe, Yahweh Bashim Shah. But yet, when it comes to this damn devil, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, they'll go to work having faith that he's going to pay them every week or every other week, you know. But yet Esau actually has a track record of not paying you, man. He has a track record of not showing you, okay, proper justice and judgment, man. Hey, case in point, what's happening right now? These furloughed workers. They're make you go to work, you know, with the hopes of maybe you will or maybe you won't get paid. But people still had a faith in this man and his system. But yet, like you were saying, when it comes to Yahweh Bashim Shah, we talking about you Israelites, man. When it comes to your power, man, okay, hey, the Lord got to jump through hoops and hurdles to make you believe, man. But see, that's why it says in Second Ezra, the first chapter, if I take the grace to little ones, if I take the grace to little ones, in whose eyes they have not seen, but yet in spirit they believe the things that I say. Roughly paraphrasing, that's in Second Ezra, the first chapter. Because Yahweh Shai told, Thomas, he says, "Blessed are those who believe but don't see." And Lord willing, that's us.
That's right.
You want some more on this? It was a little more.
Yeah, you can get a little more.
Wisdom of Solomon 14:22. "Moreover, this was not enough for them, that they erred in the knowledge of Yahweh Bashim Shah, but whereas they lived in the great war of ignorance, those great plagues called they peace.
Mhm.
Right. And we're in the time of plagues, man. But yet, Jacob's calling it peaceful times, starting with the head of these other Israelite camps, man. They're saying that there is no Jacob's trouble, or yet they're just not speaking about Jacob's trouble at all. So really their whole spirit that they're coming in the midst of all these plagues, job losses, there's no work for Egypt. In the midst of, the chariots visiting the house of the thief, in the midst of, inflation, wars, rumors of wars, government shutdown, all these particular things. Okay, they're still saying these are peaceful times, man. And let's just get some land, let's get some sheep, some oxen, some eggs,
Right.
you know. You got it.
Yeah, and I wanted to pull up this because this is one thing that Esau got as a trick bag for you. We brought this last night with uh, the Elder Yatazak here in Dallas, and he brought up how Esau got you Jakes in the trick bag,
Mm.
and just like Yahawah got Esau in the trick bag. It says trick bag meaning, and this is AI overview. It says a trick bag, and also this is going to segue into the article that we have as well, going on to how Jake is just bugging out and how things are getting colder, these cold times that we're in. Because Esau is lit, it's all this that's setting up for all the trauma in the world is what is Esau's doing. And we know it's led by the Most High Yahweh. But we know that Esau is the wicked who rules the world as pursuant to Job 9 and 24. It says a trick bag refers to an unpleasant or tricky situation, especially one that is difficult to get out of.
Mm.
The term originated in African American culture, where a trick bag was a type of mojo bag used for cursing or trapping someone. But it evolved to describe any difficult or awkward circumstance created by someone else.
Mm.
And what has this been created by? Someone else. Who created the hoods? All right. Who created all these the bad situation that Jake is in? When we look at back in the day when in Chicago, you look at over in what is that? Tulsa, Oklahoma. All right. In these times where Jake was thriving, what happened? Esau utilized his weapon, all right, the sword, which is the modern day gun, to come what? To come persecute Jake, which
Mhm.
is just, and it was false because, like I said, we was thriving. But what did he do? He came and brought his gun. He unalived a lot of Jake, and he destroyed the cities. Why is that? Because when we are at one, we can thrive and we can build, just like the time in Egypt. You know, when the Pharaoh that was brought forth and he didn't know of the Israelites, he said, what, they're gonna be basically strong as we are. They're
Mhm.
gonna overpower us. It's good. They're born, or they're constantly being born in abundance.
Yeah.
All right, they're thriving. So what? He put rigor on 'em. He made things hard for them. That's the same thing we see today when Esau he don't have no stores or anything that you own in the neighborhood. You always have these heathens that overtake the neighborhood with their stores and businesses. And then he bring forth and bring guns to your streets. He helped with what, bringing
Little human
lit-
deletion centers.
yes, little him and crack epidemic.
Yep.
How did that come about? It ain't no chemists up in the hoods, but yet you found out you got crack in the neighborhood. Who you think did that? All right. So this is something that what it evolved to describe any difficult or awkward situation created by someone else, created by your enemy. All right. And you trying to join hand in hand with them, but look what he's leading you to. All right. Deletion of your babies, taking the father out the home, and now you have what, these monsters running around with pistols in their hands.
Mhm. Yep, I got a quick one. As you read that definition for trick bag, the Lord
Mhm.
Yahweh Bashim Shah has his devil in the trick bag.
That's right.
Psalm 7 and 15 in the NOT. It says they dig a deep pit to trap others. When you go into the etymology of that word pit, it goes into system.
Mhm.
That's exactly what we're trapped in. We're trapped in the system, man. And Esau wants to solidify this trap. Okay, hey, and the spirit, JB saying he caught in the trap house, man.
Right.
America's one big trap house. So it's going to take divine intervention for us to get plucked out of this place, man.
Mhm.
But it says they dig a deep pit to trap others, then fall into it themselves. And you see a lot of Edomites falling into the same system and the pitfalls,
Mhm.
that their own people put them in. A lot of these these Joe Blow regular Edomites, they hooked on crack, they hooked on drugs, they having family issues, but it's going to get to the point to where it's going to touch, these elites, just like it did in ancient Egypt.
That's right.
All those plagues eventually hit who? Okay, Pharaoh, man.
Mm-hmm.
And his firstborn son and everybody, that was close to him, man. You see? So it says, verse 16, the trouble they make for others backfires on them. That's the trick bag.
That's true, man. Yep.
The violence they plan falls on their own heads, man. See? And that's what we know, okay, is about to happen. Everything that Esau has planned to try to ultimately, 2/3 they're already slated for destruction. Esau knows about the elect. That's why when you read in Revelation 11:11, it says, "And spirit of Yahawah entered into inside of them, and they stood up on their feet." It says, "Great fear fell upon their enemies." This whole conspiracy and crafty counsels are ultimately against the Lord's elect. Revelation 12:17, the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed. So he has his sights on the Lord's elect, and everything he has planned against the Lord's elect is not going to avail anything, man.
Right.
Okay, and everything you're trying to do against the elect is going to fall upon you, man.
Mm-hmm.
You can't curse whom Yahweh Bashmal is blessed. Just like Balaam told Balak. When you read that in Numbers, the 21st and 22nd and 23rd chapter, man. You know, Balaam, told Balak, like, listen, man, I can't curse these people. These are the people that the Most High blessed.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, I can't curse who the Most High has blessed.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no enchantment against Jacob. So there's absolutely nothing Esau can do to pluck the elect out of Yahweh's hands, man. But you
Yeah.
gotta go.
His power was in the Lord's hand and lay him back on you because it was whole job. He was willing to go do that. But what did the Lord kept showing him? You can't curse him. You got every time you want to go curse him, what he blessed him. He said you can't curse him. So that's what in these times the elect is gonna be blessed. But like you say, Esau, he's gonna come thinking he's about to fill his belly. What is that in Job? I think that's Job 20.
Yeah.
And he's gonna basically fall into that dish, his own dish that he's dug. I'm gonna bring an article out. This is in ABC News. It says, and it came out on October 13th. It says, four arrested in connection with shooting uh, that left six unalive and 10 wounded in Mississippi. All right. It says, four people were arrested on Monday in criminal charges related to the Leland, Mississippi mass unaliving over the weekend. Six people were unalived and at least 10 others were injured in the shooting that erupted Friday in a small town area, a downtown official said. And like I say, Leland, me being originally from Mississippi, it is a little small city in the town in the Delta, and it's very small. And just imagine this is somewhere a lot of people, majority of the town was probably at because I think it was around the time of a football game, like a homecoming or something.
Hmm.
It says Leland Mayor John Lee, speaking at news conference over the weekend, said the city was experiencing a great loss and asked for prayers. On Monday, FBI in Jackson, Mississippi, announced that Morgan Lattimore, 25, Tavion L. Powell, 29, and William Bryant, 29, were charged with capital unaliving. And it says the fourth suspect, Latoya Powell, 44, has been charged with attempted unaliving according to FBI. All right, and it says on Friday, State Senator Derek Simmons told Jackson ABC affiliate WAPT people were at a gathering following the Leland High School homecoming football game when the shooting happened, and we know that that was just judgment that was being poured out at that point. All right, because any of us, like the Lord said, the scriptures say, has anyone perished being innocent? So and like I say, hey, we just bring news out and we just present it on a spiritual level, and that's what we're seeing right now. And those, what is that scripture where those spirits made for vengeance?
Mhm.
Lord put those spirits on those Jacob. These are Jakes. You just hear the name, Tavion and all this. He put that on for this to happen. All right. And it was targets out there for that was meant to be hit through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And that's just how things goes. And this is a small town, and this is just a small, minute thing that's happening now, but the thing's gonna get worse out here.
And see, and if I can add, the powers that be, these Edomites, Trump, ultimately the elites, this all plays into their narrative. They love this.
Yeah.
And they're gonna, particular, mass unaliving such as this, they're gonna plaster this all over the media, so Trump can be even more justified in saying, "Hey, see, this is why we need the National Guard." These criminals, these animals. I can't mimic how he speaks, but you catch the drift, man.
Yeah.
This all plays into their plans, order Abakeo, and this justifies them, to pretty much just go ahead and you know, do what they need to do. Federalize these National Guardsmen and continue to round Jake up, man. And you see how a lot of the target and the attention's been put up on Southern Kingdom here as late, man.
Right.
As a matter of fact, before I had got the videos, before we got the video started, it was a article had popped up on my phone, and it says Trump vows federal surge in more American cities to combat crime. So it's
Yeah.
but who's the one who instigated all this crime the whole time? Esau, man. You know, but he's using the crime that he created. The war on drugs. All the
Right.
giving niggas AK Russian AKs. Like niggas, they don't go to Russia. You know what I mean? But he did this. He did all that ultimately for the times that we're in right now, so he could set up this martial law. And it's gonna be, man. You said it was 6 deleted in that crime scene.
Yep.
Man, hey, we in times, bro. Hey, Second Ezra 16 chapter says for there's gonna be great death. Great death. Talking about like man, mass unalivings. Like talking about like tens of thousands all on one scene.
Yep.
Just like it was in that earthquake a few years ago out there in Turkey. It was over 56,000 people that got deleted in that earthquake out there in Turkey a few years ago.
I'm running Second Ezra 16 out for you. Second Ezra 16 and 18. Start at verse 17. Woe is me. Woe is me. Who will deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows and great mourning.
Right. And Ezra, he's a righteous man. He's a righteous man, a righteous prophet of Yahweh Shemal Shai. He said, woe is me. So, man, going to show you, man, we're living in some times to where, man, you got to be contrite, and hope that Yahweh Shemal Shai has mercy upon us, because we just don't know, but we still approach, the throne of Yahweh Shemal Shai, with boldness, believing that he's going to be with us, but nonetheless, man, we're living in some very, troublesome times, and you could feel that tense spirit in the air, man, everywhere you go.
Right.
When you go grocery shopping, you pumping gas, you go to work, wherever, man. It's just tense out here, bro. But this is what Yahweh Shah says, for because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
Yeah.
And we get that Greek word cold often, and it's psycho in the Greek. People are literally psycho in their head. They're hooked on all these medications. They're losing their jobs. Their women cheating on them. They ain't got no money. Everything's just going, horrible in their lives.
Right.
Due to these plagues that the Lord is sending out. So these is bugging these people out. So everybody's on edge. So that causes us, man. We got to really make sure we on our P's and Q's, man, and being circumspect and watching.
Right. Second Timothy 3 goes into that. It's going to be those perilous times. Because you look, Esau, every time you look at it, always go back to the rulership, who, like I say, as the king goes, so are the people. The morale and spiritual decay in the society will cause perilous conditions. Right. That's getting to a point where it's going to be, it's no way to repair these things. And the only way it's going to be repaired is what? Divine intervention. And that's what it's going to be set up for. All right.
A complete dismantling of this current infrastructure, this current system. That's the only way it can be repaired, man. This place got to be completely destroyed. Not one trace or iota of Esau's, kingdom, bro. Everything got to be broken to shivers. What was that? Daniel the second chapter. Speaks about that stone that's cut out with our hand to smite the image upon his feet. And it was broken to shivers, man. That's what Yahweh Shah is coming to do. Break this place completely apart. Every single heathen rule, man. He's going to break this shit completely apart, man. He's going to start over from scratch, and he's going to set up the throne of David here upon the earth, man. You know, but you got it, bro.
It's like Second Ezra 16 and 18. It says the beginning of sorrows and great mourning.
And we just in the beginnings of it, man.
Yep.
See, the thing is, okay, just like everything has a beginning, eventually has an end. And we can't stay in the beginning of sorrows forever. Eventually, we're going to be in the height. We're going to be in the climax of Jacob's trouble, man. A time of trouble such as never was since there's a nation. And you look at everything that people's doing right now, you know, people are deleting their own loved ones, you know, mothers, putting their babies in the ovens, chopping up their own mothers, chopping up their grandmothers and putting them on barbecue pits. You know, like that one Eve did about a year or two ago. You know, like all this. So if they're doing all this in the green tree, if they're doing all this in the beginning of sorrows, what are they going to do when there's no food, no access to food? What are they going to do when everybody's off the grid? There's no lights, there's no power. You haven't bathed in 2 weeks. You know, you don't know when your next meal going to be. It's going, bro. Like the title of the lesson says, we in cold times. Only going to get colder from here, man. You know, so we need Yahawah Shai, man. You got it out.
Yeah. And like you said, it's beginning because people are going to become more and more overwhelmed with all the confusion and the fear. It's going to be a lot of terrifying events that's going to occur, and people are going to feel like there's no way to get out of it. You know, but we have a way through Yahawah Shai. Back in verse 18 of 2nd Ezra 16, it says, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power
Yeah, the beginning of wars. Trump is over here telling you the other day, ain't gonna be no World War III.
Right.
Wrong. Okay.
Hopefully.
Okay.
But
hey, but Scripture says there's no peace to the wicked, and they're the wicked, man. So your hope is in vain.
Right.
All right. Then we in the beginning of wars, man. Eventually, this thing's about to be super hot. Malachi 4:1, the day of the Lord burns as an oven. And it's going to come in the way of these intercontinental ballistic missiles, okay, pelting, okay, Babylon and Great America, man.
Yeah.
You know?
And that stuff with like you say, wars going on. The war with Ukraine and Russia ain't stopped.
That ain't stopped.
All right. You have other wars. You had a tension going on with China and all them places, Taiwan. Hey, look at the tension with America and Venezuela right now. Who's back in Venezuela is what? Russia and China. Like you said, all these things, when you start fires here and there, just like a forest fire, like you see in California, these wildfires, little fires start here and there, and what happened? They erupt to bigger fires where it's uncontainable. And that's what you're about to see. These wars that are actually going on is going to get to a point where it's not going to be able to be contained. That's it. It says the beginning of wars and the great power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils.
Right, these great powers shall stand in fear, you know? All these different, you know, kingdoms, these other different nations, man. America, China, Iran, you know, Russia. They're all standing in fear, you know? Because they know at the end of the day they're all being manipulated, okay, by a force that's stronger than them.
Right.
And one thing that they all have in common is what? Okay, they all got space forces. You know? And just wait until our big brother, man, Yahawah pulls up on his place. Like I say in 2nd Ezra 13, one realm shall fight against another realm. That's why they ultimately in fear. That's why Esau moving so fast and sloppy and tacky, man. They're in fear, bro. The Lord showed their asses something, bro. Like I say in Revelation 12 and 12, for the devil coming down upon you because he knoweth that he has a short time. When you go to that word knoweth, it means to observe, you know, to see something. Okay, the Lord showed him something, just like he showed Belteshazzar in Daniel the 5th chapter.
Yeah.
You know, the writing on the wall, many Tekel Upharsin. Belteshazzar saw that hand. Okay, write that. And the scripture said that his knees smote together like water. He was weak. Okay, and the Lord is showing these upper echelons, these elites something, bro. That, you know, and you could tell, man. Like, bro.
You mentioned about Shazar. Hey, he trembled, and the Lord didn't. He tarried, but it didn't tarry. It came. It came that night, and took over to, and he was put to death. All right, and that's what we're about to see when these times come. Like when you mentioned, and Esau saw something. What is that? With CERN and that Hydro Collider, bro. They were talking about they were looking at the dark matter and all this. Something they saw that have freaked them out. Cause one time they had to cut it off. They had to stop it. Hey, but like I say, the Lord has showed Esau something that he's panicking. You know, even like with this object, what is that? That atlas that's coming. We don't know what could be a cherry. We don't know. We know it's something to bring Esau with some fear. Because they said when it if I'm not mistaken, came around the sun or something like that. That some things were shut off. You know, some things that happened. What we know in overall is something that Esau is seeing that he's trying to make haste. All right. That's why it says in Revelation 12:12 that he know it, but he got a short time. So the things that he's implemented and had these certain agendas that he's saying we're gonna set up for 2030, this and that, 20, 50. Bro, he's trying to speed these things up because he know that the Lord is making moving forward towards the earth.
Bro,
Right?
if I can add,
No, go ahead. Go
you
ahead.
just made mention of the 2050 agenda, which that was the real agenda, but you never hear them speak about
Nope.
2050 agenda no more.
Mm-mm.
It's always 2030, you know, because the Lord got that fire on his ass, man.
That's right.
You know?
Mm-hmm. This is back in the middle of Revelation, Second Ezra 16.
But yet, Salakia,
Oh, go
but
ahead.
yet you got Israelites, okay, well, one in particular who used to be a part of Hebrew Israelite community, you know, Alizé. You know, he said that we could possibly have another 1,000 years here. But Esau don't even believe that shit.
Nope.
Esau don't believe we got another 1,000 years here, man. But yeah, you got niggas that do, man. You know?
He's far gone.
That's disgusting, bro. Like, how in the hell, you know what I mean? Like, Jake is content here, man.
Yeah. Yeah. That lets you know he contend here. Now what he doing? Hanging out with young YN.
Yeah,
Young cats.
man.
I mean, and then talking about toe tags and all this and that. Bro, he's going off the hinges right now.
Can you imagine another 1,000 years of YNs?
Oh shit.
You can't even really think about it, because and just man, that's why Yahawashi says, "Let those days be short, and there shall no flesh be saved."
Right. All these goddamn scud caps with masks on, all these you got everybody walking around like that. No, that'd be ridiculous.
Man.
Oh, it won't be nothing but abandoned buildings and pistols and fights
and weaves and cigarillo packs and booty shorts just spread all over the place.
I'm sorry, because Esau setting it up now where you're gonna see weave in the street floating around like tumbleweed. You see YNs,
Yeah.
like you say, what's going on in Chicago right now? These places, why they ain't stepped up and said, don't come here. They there now. What you gonna do? Go ahead and bring out your switches and your sticks. Bring them out. You know. But see, that's the thing. All the talk now, y'all can go, y'all can shoot, fight, and do everything against one another. But then when you see your enemy, your true enemy, Esau, come, what are you gonna do now? Nothing. All right.
Because they fear Esau.
Yep. When you pull your pants up, you take your mask off. You know what I'm saying? Now you acting like upright and upstanding civilian. You know. This is back Second Ezra 16 in the middle of verse 18. It says, "The beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come?"
And all we can do is just simply wait for Yahawashi and continue to keep our integrity. You know, because all of our integrity is about to be tried, man.
Yeah.
You know, to the utmost max degree. You know, Revelation 3 and 10, the hour of temptation. That's what we can do. And we just hope and pray that Yahawashi keep his spirit on us, man.
Right. In the hour of temptation, like I say, things are gonna get bad. You're gonna see more of lack of food that's gonna be out here. You're gonna see HBC multiple jobs are being closed down and people getting laid off. So you're gonna see people more and more people out in the streets. And when people are jobless, can't afford their rent, can't afford food, or unable to receive food, what it becomes in desperation. Desperation drives people into violence and betraying one another. They talk about that in Second Ezra's 15. You know, going into your neighbor's house, your family. You know, like I said, the Lord driving that in what is that, Matthew 10 and 34. All right, he's calling that division, and that's going to only get worse. Like I say, through perilous times and through desperation, people turn into violence to get what they need or what they have necessities.
Desperate times calls for desperate measures.
That's right.
Oh,
Hey, with that, hey, Lord willing, this was edifying. We'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahawah, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Hakadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to you, Akim, pushing his word and truth and sincerity. Shalom.
Wow.